Cricbuzz Chatter at the end of day one of this fourth test match. We came back to London. We came to the Oval, and guess what? We saw grey skies. We saw green on the pitch, and India folded up once again for 191, sneaked in the big wicket of Joe Root at the end. But guess what, Michael? If India did get to 191, yes, Virat Kohli got 50, showed glimpses of the Kohli that we know. 57 of 36 balls. Every batsman is going out there, scratching, playing, missing, thinking, when am I going to get a good batting surface? And the Lord, as he's called here, Lord Thakur. So, Michael, as one of the great lovers of orthodoxy in sport as well, what did you make of that assault from Shardul Thakur?
Well, I think you've pretty much summarised the whole day. I have to say that it's been entertaining. I think everyone that paid a decent amount of money to go into the Oval today got royally entertained. Shardul Thakur, that last session for India has got them back into the Test match. The quickest half century in Test history on that venue, remarkable. But I'm going to be completely honest. Inside 79 overs, there's 13 wickets that have fallen on that Oval pitch. Yes, it's done a bit, but it wasn't a great advertisement for Test match batting today. I thought there was too much panic. The technical side wasn't great. The bowling was decent. And if England had held the chances, I reckon they'd have bowled India out for 120, 130. They didn't. And because of that incredible half century, the 3 late wickets, the key wicket of Joe Root, the Test match is like that. It's in the balance. And with clouds around tomorrow, Harsha, the ball's going to swing around a bit more. We might be in for another dramatic day because I know the way England will play. They'll panic and they'll play a few shots. So I think we might see a few more wickets fall.
In 2021, Joe Root has made 35% of all the runs that England have made. I mean, that's ridiculous. You in your prime, or Alistair Cook in his prime, or KP in his prime, never happened like that. That one player made 35% of the runs. It leads to a larger question, and I'm going to get off the entertainer hat. And I'm going to ask you to put on your good old-fashioned Test match lovers hat on. Are we seeing two very good quality bowling sides up against two very off-color batting sides?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bowling's been, from England in particular, I thought they were excellent. Chris Woakes back into the attack. You know what you're getting with Chris Woakes, full of length, a bit of movement. I didn't think India bowled that well, apart from Bumrah. I honestly didn't think they were that good. I thought they bowled a bit too short for Joe Root. And then from nowhere, Umesh Yadav produced his delivery, which was a crackerjacker to get rid of Joe Root. And once Joe Root's on the way back to the pavilion, you know, we know that in England, there's problems because, as you said, he's been the mainstay of the batting lineup. I don't know what it is with Test match batting, but if you actually look at long series, England in India, they got worse as the series went. India seem to be getting worse in these conditions. They should be getting better because they're facing the Duke ball for longer. They're practicing against the Duke ball. I don't know what it is with these long series away from home, but the teams that arrive seem to get a little bit worse and worse. And we'll have to wait and see what happens over the next 2 days. But I think we're in for another classic. That last session is exactly what India needed, and it's got them back in the Test match.
Have England cracked the code now? Are they just going to be relentless in that corridor? I mean, I loved watching Chris Woakes bowl. I've always rated him as a cricketer. I've rated him as a person too, by the way, in my few interactions with him. But I've always rated him as a cricketer. And after that first half hour, when you wondered if they'd brought to life an Anderson waxwork from Madame Tussauds, and then he quickly went back to the bowler that we know he can be, I thought he turned the tide for England after that insipid first half hour. And after that, England were just fantastic. I mean, I don't know if Ollie Robinson's a bowler for these conditions or whether he's going to be. We've talked a lot about him, but he was fantastic. It made it easy for Overton. But I thought Woakes was fantastic. He set it up for everybody else. But is there now a template to getting India out?
Yeah, I think there is. You look at the dismissals of the majority of the Indian players. It's a bit like a broken record. It's a similar kind of pattern from one test to the next, on and around that fourth stump, fifth stump, a little bit of movement away, a bit of bounce, and you feel that the outside edge will be found. Look, it's not easy. In English conditions, it's not easy because there is movement. I think there was some good balls out there. I thought Virat played beautifully, but he gets an incredible delivery. I think with Virat now, he's playing well enough. I just think he's getting penalised by the smallest mistake. He just played across the line just a little bit, just across the line, and he's getting penalised. He's just going through one of those periods that little mistake, that small mistake, he's costed him. I will state here, he carries on batting like he did here, like he did at Headingley in the second innings. That 100's around the corner. He's playing well, and he might be the difference in this Test match, because I look at from now on in, if one individual player gets 100 for their team, and it might be two, but if one player gets the 100 from here on in, I think that team's going to go on and win the Test match. It might be England tomorrow. It might be an Ollie Pope. It might be a Milan who looked great. It might be a Bairstow, a Moeen Ali, Chris Woakes. And it might be a Virat in the second innings, a Rohit Sharma, a KL Rahul. But whoever gets that individual century, I think is going to go on and win the Test match. I think it's that finely balanced. I've got to ask you, today, Harsha, Rishabh Pant's dismissal, it's now enough is enough, because it can't be that that's the way he plays. He is better than that. He's got to have more of an attacking game from his crease. By dancing down the wicket, he's moving his head. He can't have a base of a foundation to swing. Chris Woakes will just see him coming and bowl that kind of cutter into the serve away from him. Mid-off goes a bit deeper. He's too good a player, Harsha, to be getting out in that fashion.
And far too many people say that's how I'm going to play. I think he's a better player. It's interesting that for a long time, we thought Rishabh Pant will be this batsman, and we were worried about his keeping. And all of a sudden, we see he's keeping to the turning ball, he's jumping high, he's taking catches in front of first slip. But I don't know. I mean, today, I don't know if the plan was to bat him at 7 in any case and bat Jadeja at 6. And then suddenly Jadeja comes out at 5. I don't know what that tells Ajinkya Rahane. My feeling is, if you've decided to play Ajinkya Rahane, that's a separate debate. But if you've decided to play him, then you give him the best possible chance of success, which is play him at the number he scored most of his runs at. So yes, with Rishabh Pant, I think now India want him to embrace a little bit more. But I'd like you to put, I know I keep putting all these hats on your head all the time, but you're captain in that India dressing room. Virat Kohli is batting out there. So as captain, you're out in the middle. Was the decision, you think, to bat Jadeja at 5 taken before the game started? Was it the coach just saying, I think we need a left-hander in the mix somewhere? Was it saying, maybe we need to protect Rahane a little bit? I mean, suddenly there's Jadeja coming out to 5 and we're saying, oh, okay, is he now a batsman, not an all-rounder anymore?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't mind it tactically.
Mm.
So I thought the England seamers were bowling so well to right-handers that, I don't think India have got the tactics right. I don't think they've got the selection right. But I did think that was quite a clever move to throw a left-hander to the England seamers that are so in their groove bowling to the right-handers. It didn't work because Jadeja didn't get a big score. But for that little period with Virat Kohli and Jadeja batting, I thought it looked quite calm.
Mm.
And I thought the England bowlers, just for a short period, just had to start questioning a few little angle changes. I don't mind seeing things like that in Test cricket. I don't think there's enough of it during the Test match. I'm not saying that will happen in the second innings, but every now and again, I think in Test match cricket, it becomes so rigid that's the order and that's the way we play. I didn't mind it. It didn't pay off, but I didn't actually mind the tactical manoeuvre. Whoever made the decision, whether it was Virat, whether it was Ravi Shastri, whether it was one of the senior players in the dressing room, I thought it was quite a clever move. And if I was India, it's the kind of move that I would be looking to do again in the second innings, whatever the situation is.
Okay, it's time to do what we normally do at about this time on the program. It's time to put Michael on the hot spot. We've got to go back to Twitter, Michael. We've got to go back to Twitter. You tried trending that hashtag. It didn't work. Trending hashtags don't work on captains. But this is what you said. It must go down as the greatest non-selection we have ever witnessed across 4 tests in the UK. Now, my gut feel is that he was going to play because we saw some pictures there and there was a different look on his face. I just wonder if he was told in the morning that he's not playing. But you've captained sides with great bowlers in them. I mean, you play to the conditions once, twice, thrice. You would have played him here, wouldn't you?
As I said in my tweet, I think it's the greatest non-selection that England are going to go into their 5th Test match against India, and they've yet to face one ball from R. Ashwin. 413 Test wickets, 5 Test centuries, the experience, the know-how. He's been playing on this ground for Surrey this season, so he knows the oval ground. Shardul Thakur played and he's done great. They had to work their system to make sure that R. Ashwin got into this side. They clearly saw the green grass. They clearly realised that there was a bit of moisture, and maybe they kind of thought, you know, it's a 200, 225 par week. We'll have to wait and see. But even if it is, and even if there is green grass, even if the grass is that long, R. Ashwin plays in my team.
I suspect you're going to pull out that old picture of yours with the plant put in over there. I mean, India have played Thakur because there's a bit of batting to him. It's worked so far. India have played Jadeja because there's a bit of batting to him. 2 out of the 5 bowlers are playing because of their second skill, and I'm all for second skills. But my gut feel, knowing Ashwin as I do, is that the first 2 tests, 3 tests, you'd have said, yeah, okay. But I think somewhere now he's not going to be very happy at all. Which brings us to fast forward, because we've now got to look at where this game is going, given that we've already lost 13 wickets. So let's go fast forward. England's answer to every batting situation is, we've got Joe Root. We lost a couple of wickets there, but we've got Joe Root. What are the conditions going to be like? But we've got Joe Root. And now suddenly they're going to wake up tomorrow morning and say, oops, but we don't have Joe Root, because that one ball just came back. For the first time, India tried something different, got him playing on the front foot, got one ball coming back in. Though by then he'd already opened the gate to his house and started getting those runs square of the wicket early on. What are England thinking? Someone else now is going to say, if we've got to get to 300 here, someone else got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, 300, it seems a long way off in the position that they are in now. I thought David Mann looked great. You know, I thought he looked a classy player at number 3, and he's very driven to make sure that he establishes himself back in the Test team. I'll go as far as saying, Harsh, I think whoever wins the first session tomorrow will win the game. Oops. I think if England win it convincingly, they'll get a decent lead. If India can win that first session and get 3 or 4 quick wickets, which of course they can, it'll end up being about parity. And, you know, I think whatever India will get will be difficult to chase in the 4th innings of the match. If England get a 100-run lead again, which they can from this situation, that's going to be too much. So I really do believe it comes down to tomorrow morning's first session.
Okay, so there you are. I mean, don't forget average scores. In recent times, we're not going back to when Don Bradman played at the Oval and made 200 and something, or as he always did. We're going back last 5 years. Average first innings score 358. Either the bowlers have become fantastic all of a sudden, or the batsmen suddenly have found that the defensive techniques are suspect. But we're seeing this game move far too quickly for a Test match, that even Michael Vaughan saying the first hour on day 2, not day 3 or day 4, could well decide which way this game is going. We'll find out, of course, if he's right or if he's didn't quite work out that way when we join you at the end of day 2. Thank you very much for joining us. That was Cricbuzz Chatter.